What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on the podcast. It is Tuesday, November 19th, 2019. I got a little bit of Elite for you right here on OTS, Off the Script Elites, coming at you, your number one place right here in the community for AEW news and rumors. We got a lot to go over today, including the back and forth that was pretty much all started by CM Punk, the back and forth that led to Tony Khan replying to a CM Punk tweets about whatever's happening on WWE Backstage, which prompted Randy Orton to get involved. Then we got a back and forth between Tony Khan and Randy Orton. Then Charlotte Flair got involved. Then Brandy Rhodes got involved. It was more entertaining than 3 hours of Monday Night Raw on social media last night. We'll go over exactly what was said and my opinion on what was said right here on the podcast. Jon Moxley, you guys know him. He was the one who beat Kenny Omega in an unsanctioned match at Full Gear that received mixed reactions. I thought it was great. And I still think that there are a lot of snowflakes out there that are just too... I don't want to use a bad word in the beginning of this podcast, because then I'm going to get demonetized. You are a bunch of fairies. That's all you are. Sissies, fairies, you know. I could make the term fairy sound cool. So there you go. Bunch of goddamn fairies in the community. Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, are they set to do battle once again? Also, is Jon Moxley set to return to New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2020? Also, will New Japan Pro Wrestling book Chris Jericho to lose, even though he is the AEW World Champion and should be the AEW World Champion by the time Wrestle Kingdom 14 rolls around? So we'll go over that right here on the podcast. AEW announces Bash at the Beach. Sign me up and hand me a cold margarita, please. Frozen, preferably. Thank you. So we'll go over that. AEW also files for more trademarks, one that includes blood and guts. Wonder where I heard that one from. So we'll go over that as well. Adam Hangman Page leaves the Elites. Matt Jackson not medically cleared. We also got AEW's updated top 5 list. New number 1 contenders confirmed. We'll go over that. And where's Marty Scurll going? I'll give you one guess. It ain't WWE. So we got all this right here on the podcast today. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. I would greatly appreciate your support on social media. It's always a great place to keep up to date with everything that happens here and a great way to follow me. Always on Twitter every single day. We can't live without it, so why the hell not? Follow me on social media. That is all you need to know. Also, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. I would greatly appreciate that. Become a part of my elites, JD's Elite, right here on the channel. And that bell, turn it on so you guys have notifications. Just email to you, text it to you, whatever it is that YouTube does. You guys get notified of all my uploads right here on the podcast and on the channel. Make sure you guys check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY206, if you guys want to show some extra appreciation for all the hard work that goes into this channel. Down below will be a link of all the videos that you missed or might have missed, including last night's Monday Night Raw review and links to Off the Script episode 300. Make sure you guys go and check out all the videos that you might have missed, linked down below in the description of this very video. And the podcast today is brought to you by my good friends over at Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys go out there and support through Audible. You're going to get 30 days free of their service, including one free audiobook of your choice. No matter what, you guys are going to be able to keep this book for free. If you feel like Audible's not for you, or if you feel like you just wanted to sign up to show some support for the podcast, Audible is going to give you one free audiobook. You can keep it, cancel it at any time, and you're not going to be penalized. You're still going to get to keep that audiobook for free, and you're not going to be billed at all, man. You got over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are sports and wrestling related, but whatever category you want. Cooking, politics, sci-fi, fantasy, romance, crime. It's all on there, man. Audible is the #1 place for all your audiobook needs. Again, that's audibletrial.com/offthescript. 30 days free, a free audiobook. Can't beat that. Sounds like a great deal to me. Support Off the Script through Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. This one is pretty common knowledge, folks. I don't know why anybody is really giving this any fuel, because it's pretty basic. It's pretty simple as to where Marty Scurll is going to end up. And is WWE going to be interested in Marty Scurll? Of course they are. They'd be interested in the fucking mannequin that's standing in the Victoria's Secret window wearing red lingerie. If they could sign that, then I'm sure that they would. WWE is obviously going to be interested in Marty Scurll. Now, I talked to a few people who are in the know, and over the summer, I was told that Paul Heyman has been keeping a very, very close eye on the contract status of Marty Scurll. Whether that means he wants Marty Scurll, or if he's a big fan of Marty Scurll, if he wants him for Raw, or if he's just doing Vince McMahon's dirty work, I don't know. There were rumors going around earlier in the summer that Paul Heyman wanted Bray Wyatt on Monday Night Raw. Before that, there was even a draft. It was Paul Heyman wanting Bray Wyatt on Raw, and then WWE going out to sign Marty Scurll to a long-term deal, and that be the WrestleMania match for the Universal Championship. Marty Scurll versus The Fiend at WrestleMania 36. Hardly something to get excited about, because Vince McMahon taking control of the villain Marty Scurll, give me a break. I don't find that to be exciting whatsoever. In fact, I'm sure that they would change his character altogether once they see him. Marty Scurll is not that big of a superstar to where you can pick him out of the independent scene and put him on Monday Night Raw and then expect him to get over. That would be WWE trying way too hard with something that they know very little about. Now, if he went to NXT, that's a different story. Triple H, I'm sure, would treat him like gold. He'd be the face of that entire show within weeks. So I would be much more comfortable with Marty Scurll going to NXT and not the WWE main roster. But none of that is going to happen. As soon as AEW was announced, Marty Scurll was already locked into Ring of Honor. He had commitments in Ring of Honor. We all knew this. And we all knew that when his contract was dwindling away, that he would always end up in AEW with the rest of the Elite. And if you guys watched Being the Elite, there were some big Marty Scurll teases towards the end of that video. Now, the internal reaction to Marty Scurll's future in pro wrestling is as follows. His contract is up. In fact, it's up in about 2 weeks. With that being said, we'll find out soon enough where Marty Scurll is going to end up. And if you're watching Dynamite one of the weeks in December, I would not be surprised that you see the villain show up on AEW Dynamite. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Marty Scurll's Ring of Honor contract is up on November 30th. That is very convenient timing for him, and some high-dollar offers are absolutely going to come in for the villain. It is reported that Ring of Honor has already made him a strong offer. Ring of Honor is said to have been making strong offers to Marty Scurll to keep him, and obviously there is WWE. He'd love to be back with the Elites. We all know this for certain. He'd be a top guy in NXT, like I just said. He'd be, ready to go with that typical audience, that niche audience that they got over there. So it would be a nice fit in NXT. I just don't think it's happening. I really don't. Ring of Honor wants to keep the villain, and WWE could always be an option. It was also noted in the Observer that the general belief is that Marty Scurll was AEW bound as soon as the new company was announced, but he had Ring of Honor commitments to take care of first. So that is the internal opinion for Marty Scurll. He's probably going to end up in All Elite Wrestling. And if he doesn't, I would genuinely be shocked. How he's used in AEW, I don't know. I don't really give a shit at this point. I just want AEW to continue to bolster their roster and get the talent that they need to make that show better and be consistent with what they've been doing so far. That's all I care about. Marty Scurll in NXT, yeah, I think it would be a fun little run for him in NXT. Is it something that's going to be more, I would say, to his liking than if he went to AEW? Probably not. AEW is where he's going to end up. I don't know what else to say about this. If he ends up in NXT, I would be genuinely shocked. Marty Scurll doesn't look like the type of guy that's going to make it all about the money. He's going to make the amount of money that he wants to or he thinks he deserves through AEW. And on top of that, he'll be around his best friends. Can't beat that. That's a win-win situation for everybody involved over there. AEW. New top 5 list. New number 1 contenders have been confirmed. AEW is obviously operating under the wins and losses that attract, and they do matter. It's never mattered in pro wrestling like it does now. I wish it mattered in WWE, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. Stats will eventually reset, but the company releases a top 5 list every week to keep fans updated on who's next in line for titles. Now, in a very interesting development, after defeating Adam Hangman Page on Dynamite, Pac is now the number 1 contender for Chris Jericho's AEW World title. Britt Baker has also found herself next in line for Riho's AEW Women's Championship. The Lucha Brothers are also still number 1 contenders for the AEW Tag Team titles. It seems that they might continue to be number 1 contenders for a while. This week, Rey Fenix has a singles match against Nick Jackson, so it will be interesting to see how that match affects the ratings, if at all. So let's start with the top of the card here. We got Pac coming in at number 1. He's 4 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie as far as it goes for his singles record. Overall, he's 4-2-1 overall. Cody Rhodes is 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie as a single. 4 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie overall. Adam Hangman Page is 4 wins and 3 losses as a singles, and 5-5. He's an even 500 right there overall. Jon Moxley is 2-0 with 1 tie, and then overall he's 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Darby Allin comes in at number 5. He's 4 wins and 2 losses with 1 tie. That tie with Darby Allin comes against Cody Rhodes. And then we got him being 4-3-1 overall. Jon Moxley's tie comes against Pac, and that was the Dynamite that ended in that 15-minute time limit draw, if you guys remember that. So there you go. So Jon Moxley and Darby Allin are actually fighting on Dynamite this week, so clearly that's going to affect the rankings and the standings here going into next week. I don't know if Pac is going to have anything to do on this week's show. I don't know if Adam Hangman Page has anything to do with this week's show. Cody Rhodes is not cleared to wrestle, so he will not have anything to do with this show. So Jon Moxley and Darby Allin, from what we got right now as far as Wednesday goes, this is going to be a match that is going to affect the ratings. So this could ultimately move Jon Moxley up into the number 3 position. Actually, it can move him up into the number 2 position. Because if he's 3-0 and Cody Rhodes is 3-1, that would move him above Cody Rhodes. So this could be something to keep an eye on as we move forward with the next week's standings. Now, the women's division, we got Britt Baker, 3-1 singles record. She's 6-2 overall. We got Hikaru Shida is 2-1. She's got a 2-1 singles record. She's 3-1 overall. Emi Sakura is 1-1 singles. She's 2-3 overall. Nyla Rose is 2-3 over singles and 3-3 overall. And then Allie is 1 win, 2 losses singles and 3-2 overall. So even with Britt Baker at the top and Hikaru Shida at number 2, we don't really have much of a balance here in the women's division. Now, Emi Sakura, I don't really think she's going to get another title shot that quickly. So right now, it could come down to Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. And I seen an AEW dark match that was being advertised. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I have it right in front of me, but I know that Chris Statlander is going to be teaming with Big Swole on AEW Dark. That's actually happening tonight. Now, if AEW is smart, and I mentioned this last week because there were rumors about Statlander signing with NXT, I don't think that's the right move for her. Because if Statlander goes to NXT, then she's going to get swallowed up and she's going to be forgotten about because there's just so many women in NXT that are going to overshadow the signing of a Chris Statlander. She's very good. I called her match on Saturday night against House of Glory's Violet, and she looked very good, and she's gotten a lot better from the year that I've watched her grow and mature. She was in House of Glory a year prior to the last appearance that we seen of her on Saturday night. She's gotten so much better. If AEW is smart, they'd go out and watch her wrestle on AEW Dark and give her a contract. I think that would be a great, not only great, fantastic signing for AEW. Now you're probably asking, JD, why would you want to sign her? Why would you want her to sign with AEW and not NXT? Because AEW has no women's division. She could immediately make a splash in that women's division. She could set herself apart from everybody else right now because there is nobody, right? She's different than Nyla Rose. She's different than the Joshi women that they got there. She's got a unique character that is very different compared to anybody else on the AEW women's division or in NXT, but that doesn't mean she's going to get noticed more so than anybody else. That is somebody that you could put at the top of the women's division and start to build your women's division around. I think it's great. And if they don't offer her a contract, I think I would honestly think it's silly. So I think that if she does impress, AEW needs to go out there and sign her to their women's division because right now the women's division, as we all know, is AEW's weakest part. Now the tag team rankings are as follows. The Lucha Brothers are 4-3 tag team record, 5-4 overall. Santana and Ortiz are 2-0 as a tag team, 3-0 overall. The Young Bucks are 4-3 tag team record, 7-4 overall. The Best Friends are 3-3, 4-5 overall for Trent Beretta, 4-4 overall record for Chuck Taylor. And then the Dark Order come in at number 5. They are 3-2 as a tag team and 4-2 overall. I don't know if the Nick Jackson versus Phoenix match is going to have anything to do with the rankings. I'm assuming it is, because if it didn't, then it wouldn't make television. Everything that AEW has done and everything that AEW will continue to do on Dynamite has some sort of meaning. They don't book matches just because they need to fill 2 hours of TV time. Everything that they do is strategically there for a reason. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens coming out of this week's show with these overall rankings. I like this type of stuff. I really do. This is the extent of it. This is the extent of what I would do. This is as analytical as I would want it to be. You want to go and break down how many times Darby Allin used the coffin drop and how many times he was successful with it. Or you could probably say the same thing about Kenny Omega. How many times has Kenny Omega used the one-winged angel? How many times has it been attempted? Same thing with Adam Page. How many times has he attempted the buckshot lariat? Right? How many times has he attempted the dead eye? Stuff like that. That's the extent of what I would do with the analytics and the statistics of AEW. I think it's great. It adds a nice little, little extra appeal to what they're doing. And it makes everything that happens on the TV show, if you have all of this in the back of their mind, if you have all of this in the back of your mind, knowing that there's going to be rankings coming out and you're going to look at the rankings going into Wednesday's show, you know for a fact that everything on that show is going to have extra meaning to you. Just by looking at the rankings. We're going to go watch AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, and everything is going to have a meaning. That's what I mean about stuff happening on a show that has meaning. Everything that happens on Monday Night Raw has no meaning. I don't even know why the Survivor Series is even important to anybody. What the fuck are they fighting for? I don't know. What does Monday Night Raw get? What does Smackdown get? What does NXT get? Why the fuck do they even care who wins? Seriously. At least with this, we have a meaning to Dynamite and the 2 hours of program that we're getting on Wednesday night. Now, speaking of Matt Jackson, he's out. He's not medically cleared to compete. Nick Jackson's going to be going one-on-one with Rey Fenix. Nick Jackson's set to take on Phoenix. It's very interesting that Nick Jackson is competing without his brother Matt, but there's a reason for this match. It was revealed on the latest episode of Being the Elite that Matt Jackson is not medically cleared to compete. Nick Jackson said it's going to be weird traveling without his brother. They tried to raise the spirits of everybody a little bit, so Nick Jackson suggested that they do some magic. Then he did a little merch freak action by changing clothes and then disappearing in the video. Hopefully, Matt Jackson will be able to heal up quickly. It was noted why he's not medically clear, or wasn't noted why he wasn't medically clear, but apparently he won't be coming to Indianapolis. Folks, Matt Jackson is not really hurt. He's just selling the effect of the powerbomb given to him by proud and powerful Santana Ortiz on last week's Fallout show from Full Gear. As you guys remember, Nick Jackson was held up and he had his knee beaten down with the sock filled with baseballs by Santana and Ortiz. Then they focused their attack on Matt Jackson. Then they powerbombed him through the stage. He's not injured. He's just selling the effects of what happened due to an attack last week on Dynamite. It's not that difficult to contemplate. It might be a little weird to everybody watching Dynamite, but what happened on last week's show has a direct effect on this week's show. What happened on last week's show has a direct effect on said tag team. One half of said tag team got taken out. The other guy don't want to sit around. He wants to keep up. He wants to, not just sit around and wait for Matt to get better. It's not that difficult to figure out. Might be a little foreign to you, but this is what we do when we incorporate logic to a pro wrestling show. Look at that. I know it's going to be something to get used to, but you'll get used to it because I've already gotten used to it, so there should be no concern as to you guys as well. I love it. I think it's great. Matt Jackson's not hurt. He's just selling the effects of Proud and Powerful's powerbomb through the stage last week. Adam Hangman Page. He leaves the Elite. Now, Hangman entered AEW as the one guy to get the first crack at Chris Jericho and the World Championship. He was not able to win the big one. During Being the Elite this week, a segment aired where Hangman came to the Young Bucks locker room after his loss to Pac on Dynamite last week. He explained that he can't keep doing this anymore and then just left. He says, and I quote, "I lost to Jericho, I lost to Pac, I've been the least successful guy in this group, and I can't do it anymore. I can't do this, guys. I'm sorry, guys. We're still cool, but I'm going to ride alone for a while. I'm sorry." End quote. Adam Hangman Page left after all this, and what he stated to the Young Bucks stayed behind wondering what happened. As Nick Jackson said, "This is supposed to be fun." End quote. Then they played a montage of the Elite taking all kinds of abuse on Dynamite during AEW's pay-per-views. The final shot of this week's episode showed Adam Hangman Page coming home and turning a picture of the Elite around so he doesn't have to see it anymore. Interestingly enough, it appears that Marty Scurll is in the picture that Hangman turned around. That's why I mentioned in the beginning story with Marty Scurll, being that there was a major tease with Marty Scurll, they would not be showing Marty Scurll in said segment on Being the Elite if he was not coming in to AEW. The fact that he's still mentioned on this program, and the fact that, he's in this scene with Adam Hangman Page, this could lead to possibly one of two things. One, Adam Hangman Page continues to lose, and he goes into that downward spiral, rumored storyline that everybody was talking about, with him just turning heel. I'm not sure how likely that is, but we'll see. It could do him well, and then it could set him up for a huge babyface comeback in the future. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right time to do it. I don't know if they're actually going to go ahead and do something like that, but we'll see. Or maybe Marty Scurll comes in, and he's the one to facilitate Adam Hangman Page getting back on track and joining the Elite once again, and everybody comes together as one big family. I don't know. I really don't know. Adam Hangman Page, I would love to see him go on a downward spiral, and I would love to see him continue to lose, and I would love to see him snap and taken out on everybody, and Marty Scurll comes on in and has to pretty much be the one to put a stop to everything that's going on. I don't know. This is a very interesting situation. Left in the hands of these guys, I trust them to create an engaging story. But Adam Hangman Page, we all know, with him, it's been something that has been on and off, hot and cold. Some weeks he looks phenomenal. Some weeks he comes out there and he sounds like and looks like the biggest guy on the AEW roster. And then there are some weeks where you watch him work and it's like, something is missing. I can't fully invest myself in this guy. He's either too boring or he's just missing that one little piece to create the overall grand puzzle to Adam Hangman Page. I don't know what it is. It's always on and off, hot and cold with Page. He's a great wrestler. What he's doing in the ring is fantastic. I take nothing away from the guy. I think he's great. I just don't think he's ready for the top spot yet. And I don't know when he's going to be ready. Could he turn heel and then be ready? I don't know. Something that I'd love to see. I think it would throw a nice wrinkle into the... I don't want to say complacency of the elite, but it would throw a wrinkle into the overall comfortable feel that everybody feels when they watch being the elite, you know? Maybe Adam Hangman Page doesn't need to be part of that anymore. Maybe he does go on his own and rides alone. He rides on horseback into the sunset and just goes about being a rebel, you know? I don't know. It's very interesting developments with Adam Hangman Page, but I would like to see a heel turn facilitated, and I would like to see him turn to the dark side. I always think, a lot of people think that's always the answer for everybody, can't turn everybody heel, but in this case, it actually might be the answer. It really might be the answer. So we'll see what happens. AEW files for Blood and Guts trademark. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, the Blood and Guts trademark, it does. Because Vince McMahon actually had a shareholders meeting, not in the last meeting, the one before that over the summer. And he mentioned, I don't know how TNT's going to handle all the blood and guts from AEW Dynamite because I guess someone caught wind of Moxley and Janela at Fyter Fest and all this stuff that they were doing as far as the hardcore stuff with Darby Allin and Jimmy Havoc and Joey Janela. So Vince McMahon proceeded to say, blood and guts, I don't know how TNT's going to handle all the blood and guts on cable television. And that wasn't the case because Tony Khan came out and said, well, we're not going to be doing those types of matches. You're not going to be seeing any blood, well, not intentionally, on AEW Dynamite. So AEW Dynamite filed for a trademark, All Elite Wrestling, Blood and Guts. This is per the PW Insider. The phrase blood and guts is, of course, like I said, in reference to a comment Vince McMahon made during the promotion's, beginning stages when he questioned whether TV networks and brands would be deterred by the level of blood and guts AEW portrays. The trademark application includes dozens of uses, including live video streaming of pay-per-view events on the internet, communication services, namely transmitting streamed sound and audio-visual recordings via the internet, streaming of audio material on the internet, streaming of video material on the internet, transmission of information in the audio-visual field, mobile media services in the nature of electronic transmission of entertainment media content, podcasting services, webcasting services, video on demand transmission services, end quote. Now, AEW President Tony Khan has stated the promotion's plans to hold 4 quarterly pay-per-views per year. This year, we've had Double or Nothing, All Out, and Full Gear. This trademark application indicates that AEW's next pay-per-view, expected to be held in February, could be titled AEW Blood and Guts. The Blood and Guts moniker is a reference, like I said, to what Vince McMahon said during an investor call back in July. McMahon was asked about his upstart competitor at the time in AEW. I don't know, man. I don't know. This could be the case where Tony Khan mentioned on one of the post-event scrims, I don't know if it was Full Gear, but I do think it was All Out, where they were still contemplating pay-per-view events, and being that we got the talk of AEW being a little bit more risque when it comes to things like that, and it might have been All Out, or it could have been the bloodbath that was Cody versus Dustin. And someone brought up the fact that there was a lot of blood, and that it wasn't really intended, it wasn't really called for. And AEW said that what you've seen on that show or what you've seen on these shows is not going to be a regular thing that you're going to be seeing on Dynamite. It's only going to happen in the rarest of occasions. And if it does happen, it's going to happen on pay-per-view. So Tony Khan said that there will be a pay-per-view that is dedicated to this type of physicality and this type of carnage. And it's going to be a throwback to the old school days of ECW. And this could be it. AEW Blood and Guts. Is that the most attractive name for a pay-per-view? No. Is it going to attract advertisers? It might scare advertisers off? Possibly. Possibly. Is it going to get people talking? Absolutely. Because when you hear All Elite Wrestling presents Blood and Guts, then your ears are going to perk up and you're going to be interested in what they're presenting to you on said evening. Now, I do think Omega and Moxley are going to fight one more time, and I do think it's going to be worse than what we've seen at Full Gear. Because I just get a sense that with Omega being out and Jon Moxley, showing everybody how much of a man he is. Now he's fighting Darby Allin on Wednesday night. And Omega's sitting at home. He's not cleared. Nobody knows when he's going to be cleared. I just get the sense that, and I didn't watch all of Being the Elite in the last couple weeks coming out of Full Gear. So I don't know. I could be off. I got to go back and watch. I'm a little behind on everything. Rightfully so, because I got so much shit going on. But if I was to make a logical guess and an assumption, I would say that with Moxley going out there, continuing to just go through the AEW roster, and Omega sitting at home and not being cleared yet, he's driving himself crazy to a point where he wants to get back in there, and he wants to get back in there with Jon Moxley. And he will do anything and everything to get back in the ring and do everything he can to get back at Jon Mox. You think Kenny Omega's going to take this loss, even though it didn't count? Even though it was an unsanctioned match, you think Kenny Omega's going to take this loss as, well, you know what? I tried to beat Moxley at his own game, but I'm going to go and do something else. And we'll just sweep this under the rug. I don't think that's going to happen. It's not really the DNA that is Kenny Omega. I think Kenny Omega is going to come back, and he's going to try and beat Jon Moxley at his own game. Now, this is only one match. They've only had one match. I don't know one feud in recent memory, in recent pro wrestling memory that, had a decent build, then someone got hurt, and then they had to stop the match and call the match off, only to go back to it and only have one match for the duration of this feud. I don't see that being a thing. That's not really pro wrestling 2019. Unless you're fighting 2 or 3 different fucking times, it's not really called a feud. I can see Kenny Omega getting back in there and trying desperately to beat Jon Moxley. Not only beat him, but beat him at his own game. Thus, we got Blood and Guts. I would absolutely go out there and think and say, and I'm making a prediction, that we do see Moxley versus Omega again for whatever pay-per-view they got planned in February. Could be their ECW, one night stand pay-per-view. Could be their version of that. I don't know. But Blood and Guts, I would go out there and make a prediction and say that that is going to be their next pay-per-view. I don't know how that fits into the Big Four. I don't really want a themed pay-per-view that is, for one night only, we go hardcore. I don't want that. I wish it had a better ring to it, or a better name for the pay-per-view, but who am I? I'm just some idiot who makes wrestling videos on YouTube. So we'll see what happens. Blood and Guts, they trademarked it for a reason, and with all the reasons that I gave you and all the description that I gave you, it looks like it's going to be for a pay-per-view coming up in 2020. And we'll find out soon enough. So as we move on with the Dynamite build going into November, December, and then on into January, I'm sure we'll be getting the name of the next pay-per-view sooner rather than later. Speaking of pay-per-views, I used to love Bash at the Beach. But AEW is not using Bash at the Beach for a pay-per-view. They're using it as a Dynamite taping. AEW announced that on January 15th, the January 15th Dynamite episode in Miami will be titled Bash at the Beach. Bash at the Beach was an annual WCW show that ran from 1994 to 2000. The term was owned by WWE, but Cody filed to trademark it earlier this year. When he filed for Bash at the Beach, Cody also filed for Bunkhouse Stampede and Battle Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see if those other old school names come into play at some point for AEW in the future. So the show will act as the kickoff for Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea, which will also see another episode of Dynamite filmed on the Norwegian Pearl ship, which will air on January 22nd. The WCW Bash at the Beach was held in Florida 5 times, but never in Miami. Cody Rhodes actually owns the name Bash at the Beach. He filed for the copyright in March of 2019. Since WWE didn't seem to want the name, which, their loss, continue to give us fucking Extreme Rules and Battleground and whatever the fuck else you got going on during your pay-per-view calendar. Instead of making your pay-per-views correlate with the months and give the pay-per-views meaning and have fun with the fucking pay-per-views, right? Yeah, continue to give me Extreme Rules, where the most extreme thing that we'll see is fucking Bayley pick up a goddamn fucking steel chair and then go and hit Charlotte Flair with it. You know? Give me a break. Or Alexa Bliss. The most fucking hardcore thing we'll see at Extreme Rules is Alexa Bliss break a little fingernail and then cite that she's got a shoulder injury. You know? Give me a fucking break. You serious? It's WWE's loss. Fuck them. Fuck them. WWE didn't want the name. AEW is going to make good use of it. That is the only property. This isn't the only property that Cody Rhodes owns either. He owns these other ones, and I quote, he owns the American Dream, he owns the American Nightmare, he owns Dusty Rhodes, he owns Battle Bowl, he owns Bunkhouse Stampede, the Prince of Wrestling, and he owns The Match Beyond. Now, The Match Beyond is very interesting since it's technically the second half of a War Games match. Cody joked in the past about snatching up the War Games name from WWE. He might not get a chance to use it since WWE continues to hold yearly War Games events for NXT, but he has other interesting options to go with. So this is what AEW announced as far as Bash at the Beach. This is the official announcement. AEW today announced Bash at the Beach, an unprecedented 9-day experience for superfans that features 2 Dynamite shows, a cruise on board Chris Jericho's tricked-out party ship, and non-stop entertainment in between. The adventure begins on Wednesday, January 15th, when Dynamite takes over the Watsco Center at the University of Miami for a Bash at the Beach themed episode. I hope we get sand. I hope we get fucking palm trees. I hope we get a little fucking kiddie pool in the corner, right? I want the works if you're going to give me Bash at the Beach, man. And continues with the Rock and Roll Rager at Sea with Chris Jericho sailing round trip from Miami to Nassau, Bahamas on January 20th through the 24th. So we got high-octane bouts with the biggest names from AEW that will be filmed from Jericho's sold-out Norwegian Pearl ship, including the January 22nd episode of Dynamite on TNT. The history-making event will be bubbling with exclusive opportunities to meet AEW's star-studded roster, as well as non-stop wrestling, rock and roll, live podcasts, paranormal explorations, talent-hosted activities, autograph sessions, parties, and more. AEW's Bash at the Beach events will deliver 9 unforgettable days of wrestling and much more from the hottest company in the business today, said Chris Jericho. Thousands of friends of Jericho on board the sold-out Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea will have the experience of their lives, and now millions more will be able to watch AEW Dynamite along with us as we break out the bubbly together from Miami to the Bahamas. That sounds like a fucking great time. I'm jealous I'm not going. I am actually jealous that I am not going. That is awesome. So if you guys are in Miami, have a good time. Have a bash at the beach, because I know I'll be watching in the fucking cold, frigid, fucking New York air. Sucks. It sucks. So there you go. So we got all that. Bash at the Beach is happening. I love it. I love that AEW is giving you a taste of the old school, because it is so missed. And this is an opportunity to use those old concepts that would be just as good in 2019, 2020. I love it. All right, man, let's go over this CM Punk thing. This, not CM Punk thing, but this Tony Khan, Randy Orton thing that was started by CM Punk. CM Punk had something to say about Vince McMahon and AEW founder Tony Khan. So, as we all know, WWE Backstage has the debut, or the full episode debut, I should say, of CM Punk. It's going to be very newsworthy. CM Punk is going to be on WWE Backstage. He's going to be appearing on the show. He appeared at the end of last week's show, and he will be a special contributor to the show for weeks to come now on FS1. Now, on Twitter, he actually tweeted out, did CM Punk. And it's good to see him active in the pro wrestling community once again. On Twitter, he said that he's been catching up on 5+ years of wrestling. And if he had to catch up on 5+ years of WWE wrestling, my God, that man probably wants to quit at this very moment. So he said that he's been catching up on 5+ years of wrestling and noted that the most bright of spots that he's seen have been with the women and what the women have been doing. He also noted that he's been watching some bad things take place, and he is going to talk about it, and no one is safe, said CM Punk. Now, the interesting thing is that he tagged Vince McMahon and Tony Khan in the tweet, which strongly implies that he will be addressing something with Vince McMahon or something with Tony Khan or WWE and AEW, maybe. I don't know. But he addressed them for a reason. He says this is the exact tweet. It is weird trying to catch up on 5+ years of wrestling. I'm doing what I can. There's bright spots, mostly women from what I can tell. There's bad, too, and he capitalized B-A-D. Oh, you ain't kidding, Mr. Punk. You ain't kidding, bro. I'm going to talk about it. No one is safe. Join us. Then he tagged at Renee Young, at WWE on Fox, at Booker T, at Real Page. Okay? He works with them. And then he tagged the station that he's on, because he's a Fox employee, right? He's a Fox employee. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. Then he tags Vince McMahon, like he actually looks at his Twitter account, right? And then he tags Tony Khan, of all fucking people. Now, it's great that Punk is back in the wrestling circle, talking about wrestling, getting excited about wrestling, getting everybody excited about wrestling. But why do you think Punk is a businessman? Punk is a troll. Punk wants to generate interest for his upcoming appearance on WWE Backstage. Why do you think he tagged the CEO of WWE and the CEO of AEW in the same fucking tweet, where he said, and I quote, "No one is safe"? He did this strategically to get you talking. Everybody fell for the bait. He did it because he knows everyone's going to be watching, and he knows that if I tag Tony Khan in this, he might, leech on to this. He might take the bait. He's generating interest for what he is doing as far as his involvement is going on WWE Backstage. It blew up. The real winner here is CM Punk. That's what happened. So Punk is not under a WWE contract, and he works for Fox, similar to what Ariel Helwani is doing for UFC tonight, or was doing with UFC tonight when it aired on FS1. It will be interesting to see if Punk talks about his own personal history with Vince McMahon in regards to Tony Khan. It's no secret that Punk and AEW were in talks for him to come on in. There were reports, and we went over it on Saturday's podcast, or Friday's podcast, I should say, last week for episode 300, part 1 of Off the Script, that Tony Khan and CM Punk did meet face-to-face as far as him coming on into AEW. Now, it's no secret that Punk and AEW were in talks, and Khan met with Punk face-to-face. We don't know if Punk will talk about any of those situations on WWE Backstage, or if he will discuss AEW's product on WWE Backstage. Either way, it's going to be interesting to hear AEW being talked about on a show that is meant to promote WWE TV, but CM Punk has no fucking filter. You're not bringing him in to talk fucking daisies and fucking sunflowers and rainbows on a beautiful fucking summer day. You're not you're not talking about, just keeping this guy under lock and key, Oh, you can't talk about that. Oh, you can't express it that way. No, you're going to let this guy go out there and you're going to let him voice his opinion how he sees fit. Otherwise, what's the fucking point of bringing him in? People will see right through that. If Punk is not dropping a fucking microphone, if Punk isn't dropping pipe bombs in every fucking segment, what's the fucking point of even bringing him in here? So that's what happened. Punk tagged Vince McMahon and Tony Khan, and it was strategically done to get everybody on social media riled up, and it was done to get people excited about what he is about to present on WWE Backstage on FS1. Now, Punk apparently, this is apparently according to the rumors and the rumor mill, the dirt sheets, the news. Punk apparently will be allowed to give his honest thoughts on the wrestling business. Prior to signing his deal with Fox, he said in interviews that he would want to be unfiltered, and apparently, unless someone intervenes, that is exactly what we are going to get tonight on WWE Backstage. Khan responded to Punk's tweet when he said no one is safe. So that tweet I just read out about what Punk tweeted out last night, no one is safe. So Khan replied, well, no one is safe? Sounds like a plane full of wrestlers in Saudi Arabia. All right, Tony Khan ain't holding no punches here. Now, I don't know why he went there based on CM Punk's tweet, when CM Punk's tweet had nothing to do about anything Saudi Arabia related. Maybe Tony Khan thought he was being funny in the moment. I don't know. So clearly somebody in WWE took offense to this, and you know that someone is going to back up WWE in this instance if they've seen Tony Khan's reply. Now, I honestly don't understand how this benefits WWE by having somebody, doesn't even have to be Punk, having somebody go on their programming that is going to be heavily watched tonight, and then possibly contemplating mentioning AEW on their programming. Why would you want to draw more eyeballs to AEW based off what was said on social media? Like, I don't understand this. Now, WWE does not, from reports, and this has been all over the place, WWE does not have any input on what is said on their show. Do they intervene here and tell Fox that they don't want specific subject matter discussed on WWE Backstage? You know, Punk can do whatever he wants as it concerns us, but I don't want Punk mentioning AEW in any sense of the word on a program that has our logo in the background. Does WWE intervene there? Does Fox listen if WWE comes out and says he is forbidden from mentioning AEW? Does Fox even give a shit? I don't know. Now, they did give their blessing for Fox to go out and get CM Punk, and WWE clearly has had zero to do with this show. You just watch the show, you could tell that WWE has nothing to do with it because it's loose, it's free-floating, it's natural, everybody's laughing, nobody sounds like a fucking robot or an android. That doesn't mean people are going to watch, but it's going to be very interesting to see that with CM Punk and the mouth that we all know that he has, even contemplates talking about AEW, is it going to be something that WWE is going to allow, even though they have nothing to do with the show? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. Now, Punk's official debut as a correspondent on Backstage is tonight at 11 p.m. on FS1. That's Fox Sports 1. It's going to be a very newsworthy show. Also, David Arquette is announced and will take part in a promo school segment. I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm sure it will end up being cringe, and I'm sure Ryan Satin's probably going to get involved with that garbage as well. Moving on. Remember when Tony Khan mentioned no one is safe? Sounds like a plane full of wrestlers in Saudi Arabia. Now, we had Randy Orton. Randy Orton stepped up, and he actually, through Tony Khan, a tweet, and everybody was talking during Monday Night Raw. Now, Randy Orton signed a multi-year deal with the WWE as a WWE lifer for the next 5 years. He chimed in defense of the company in which he just signed to for 5 years, That led Tony Khan firing back at Orton by tweeting back and forth with the former multi-time world champion. So, Randy Orton tweeted out this, and I quote, "What is that whole thing about glass houses and stones?" And then he tweeted out an article that he took from Google, Sports Nation, Jaguars owner Shad Khan being investigated for corruption in London. So, obviously, Randy Orton is getting back at Tony Khan for what he said about the plane and the WWE superstars in Saudi Arabia being stranded. So Randy Orton tweets this article from the sportsnot.com. Sportsnot, Sports Nation, whatever. So Tony Khan replies to Randy Orton's tweet and says this: "I thought you only tagged me in your posts when you were grasping for leverage, meaning money. That article's over a year old. It's about baseless claims made about my dad years ago. That's the best you can do. Nothing. Meanwhile, in the time since that was written, you used the N-word on Twitch." So, Randy Orton used the N-word on Twitch. I didn't really think too much of it. I mean, he's on Twitch, he's drunk, and it was very innocent sounding. People made it out to be something more than it was. So then Charlotte Flair got involved. Charlotte Flair and Brandy Rhodes got involved. Brandy Rhodes commented on Tony Khan's roasting or bodying of Randy Orton. Randy Orton tried to come to WWE's defense. Tony Khan simply, replied in defense of his father. And then Brandy Rhodes comes in and replies to Tony Khan's reply to Randy Orton and says, "That's the end of the fight, TKO." And then Charlotte Flair comes in and says something along the lines of, "Not even close," or whatever. And then Brandy Rhodes tweeted Charlotte Flair, nothing more than a clown emoji. It is a fucking circus on social media. It really is a circus on social media. Now, my thoughts on this entire situation are as follows, and this is all I will say on this. Was it newsworthy? Not really. I don't know why anybody is revolving their fucking daily wrestling lives around this nonsense on social media. It was all started by CM Punk. He strategically did what he did to get people talking. If anybody comes out the winner in this situation, it's CM Punk. If anybody comes out the winner in this thing, it's WWE Backstage. Look at what he did. He caused a fucking shitstorm on social media, and then Tony Khan gets involved. He takes Punk's bait. Randy Orton gets involved. He takes Tony Khan's bait. He takes CM Punk's bait. CM Punk is fucking at the top, hanging everybody from strings, laughing. Now, on one hand, did Randy Orton go too far in throwing Tony Khan's father out there like that? A little bit. Do I blame Tony Khan for getting back at Randy Orton the way that he did? No. He's coming to the defense of his father. I think anybody in their right mind would probably do the same thing. Somebody's talking shit about my father or making baseless claims about my father, then I would probably go out there and defend him as well. Now, did it need to go to that personal extent that Randy Orton took it to? Excuse me. I'm still under the weather, so pardon me. I'm not even editing it out. Did Randy Orton need to go to that extent for this entire back and forth and kind of get personal with Tony Khan's father? No. It was a below-the-belt shot. So Tony Khan came back and did what he only knew in that situation, and that was to defend his father. And then throw it right back at Randy Orton. Don't you only tweet me when you're looking for leverage on your new contract? Didn't you use the N-word on Twitch not too long ago? So Tony Khan did what he had to do. Not only did he come to his father's defense, but he stood up for himself. I don't find anything wrong in that. I don't find anything wrong in that at all. We don't need executives coming in here like Brandy Rhodes egging shit on that's going to lead other people to reply to this fucking shit show circus. You know, on one hand, Tony Khan did the right thing in defending his father. And on one hand, WWE, Randy Orton did the right thing in defending WWE. But at the end of the day, it doesn't look good for people in WWE who represent that company to be mingling and interacting with people of higher power in AEW. It doesn't look good for Tony Khan, who is the CEO of All Elite Wrestling, to be lowering himself to this fucking social media drivel. And it doesn't look good on his end because he is someone of power. He is someone who is the CEO of this company, and he's meddling in these bullshit affairs. It's not a good look for someone in his position. So I don't really know what to think of it. On one hand, I don't blame him. On the other hand, it's a little ridiculous that he's got to lower himself to those standards. Meanwhile, he should be taking himself to be of higher power here. He's the one who owns the wrestling company. Randy Orton's a fucking cretin who works for Vince McMahon. But I don't know how you guys think of it. I don't know how you look at it. It is what it is. Did it get people talking? Yes. And the real winner out of all this, like I said, and I will say it again, is CM Punk. CM Punk is the real winner in this entire situation. That's all I have to say about that. You could take either side. You could say one side did the right thing. You could say the other side did the right thing. There's obviously wrong on both sides. It's a circus. It ended up being a social media circus, and that's what usually happens on social media. Out comes all the fucking clowns on social media. Moving on here. Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley returning to New Japan in 2020. Dave Meltzer is reporting in the latest Observer newsletter that Moxley will be likely working either 1 or 2 nights in New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom. He's either working night 1 or night 2. He could work both nights in January 2020. It hasn't been announced, but the belief is that Jon Moxley is working the Tokyo Dome. For those in AEW, they believe that to be the case, but weren't 100% on it. Lance Archer defeated former champion Juice Robinson last month at the King of Pro Wrestling event to win the vacant IWGP United States Championship. Meltzer noted that New Japan might have Archer defend his newly won belt against Moxley at the show. If this is the case, Mox is not expected to walk out with the IWGP United States Championship. This comes after it was rumored that New Japan might have AEW World Champion Chris Jericho defeat Hiroshi Tanahashi on night 2 of the Wrestle Kingdom show if he is still the AEW World Champion, which leads me to this. Meltzer speculated on Wrestling Observer Radio that New Japan won't have Jericho lose to Tanahashi if he's still the AEW's top champion. AEW and New Japan currently don't have any working relationship with one another. It is not believed that the two promotions have any plans on working together in the near future. Some have speculated that AEW might keep the World Championship on Jericho to ensure that New Japan put him over on Tanahashi on the show next year. So I would not doubt that at all. In fact, if I'm AEW, I'm actually doing that. I'm keeping the title on Jericho. Not only do you look up and down the AEW roster, there's nobody set up to take that title off of Jericho now anyway, and I doubt it's going to be any different come January. I would keep the title on him to ensure that our champion looks strong against Hiroshi Tanahashi. And even if that wasn't the case, even if AEW didn't want to go the petty route and just keep the title on him so that they ensure he gets the victory over Hiroshi Tanahashi, I don't think New Japan is going to have Jericho work the show at Wrestle Kingdom as AEW World Champion and then book him to lose. New Japan is not going to go the douchey route. They would remain honorable in this case, where champions should always look strong. I don't think that they would book Jericho to lose as AEW World Champion, no matter what. So, Jericho and Tanahashi, if he's the champion, expect Jericho to win. It does make the match a little predictable, but who gives a shit? Enjoy the match for what it is. And Lance Archer and Jon Moxley, I could see that being a case because it makes sense. Moxley never lost the championship. He had to vacate the championship due to successful days where he went not defending the championship. So that makes sense. The old champion coming back against the new champion. He never lost the championship. Book that match and get a great match out of Moxley against Lance Archer, and it only bolsters Lance Archer's stock going into 2020. It makes him look even better coming out of New Japan and Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest show of their year, by him beating one of the biggest names in the business right now, Jon Moxley. I think it's great. And I think it's a great trade-off. If AEW is going to allow Omega and Moxley Jericho and Moxley to work New Japan, then Jericho can win and Moxley could lose and put their guy over. If Tanahashi's putting Jericho over, then Moxley could put Archer over. It's a fair trade-off. It's a fair trade-off if you ask me. So that's the latest on New Japan using AEW talent going into Wrestle Kingdom. Finally, guys, this little quick note here on Matt Jackson signing Private Party. He spoke to the Herald Bulletin. And the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson actually, said that they wanted to give a platform to some great wrestlers who haven't been seen yet. This is one of the reasons why they brought in Private Party. Matt Jackson said all it took was seeing 1-minute YouTube videos of them, and he wanted to sign them. All it took was a 1-minute YouTube video, and he wanted to sign them. He says, and I quote, "I watched a 60-second YouTube clip, and I said, yep, we're signing them. It was fun to see that the television product is working because nobody knew these guys a couple of months ago, and now Private Party is on Dynamite. A graphic of them can appear on the big screen, and the entire arena goes nuts. So it's proof in the pudding. It's proof it's working, and we just have to keep going." It's awesome. I'm so happy for Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn's success, and I cannot wait to see what they do in that, what I'm sure is going to be a very emotional match with Private Party and LAX, honoring the passing of Matt Travis on Dynamite tomorrow. If that's not the main event, I would be very disappointed. Honestly, I can't wait to see what those two teams do. Dynamite should be awesome. I don't know what this Battle Royal is. I don't have any information on this Battle Royal. There's going to be a Battle Royal, and the final two competitors in the Battle Royal will remain, and they will fight the following week for the rights to the AEW Diamond Ring. I don't know if this is their version of Money in the Bank. I don't know if this is their mid-card championship. I don't know what this is. We got zero information on what the Diamond Ring is going to be or what it's going to be used for. I guess we'll find out tomorrow on Dynamite. But Matt Jackson signed Private Party off of one clip that he's seen, which I'm sure was on the House of Glory YouTube channel. And why not? If I'm Matt and Nick Jackson and I looked at Private Party and I seen a 1-second clip too and I needed to build a tag team division, I'm saying the same thing. Let's go out and get these guys because that is fucking some phenomenal stuff. So good on Private Party. They are going to be one of the biggest teams when all is said and done in professional wrestling. And it couldn't have happened to two greater guys than Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. Guys, I'm getting out of here. I need to rest and recuperate before Dynamite tomorrow. And we got a big day of wrestling coming up on Wednesday. The final push for Survivor Series. We got a big show for Dynamite tomorrow as well. I'll be right here covering it all on the channel. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel down below. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. I wish I had more news for you guys, but right now the news is thin. If I hear anything else on AEW, you guys know where to tune in every single Tuesday right here on the channel for OTS Elites. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Hit that thumbs up, and I will see you right back here tomorrow night for more AEW when we cover in full Dynamite tomorrow night. See you guys then, and I will talk to you all tomorrow on Twitter during Dynamite. See you guys then.